Hey everyone! Thanks to the variety of its outputs, KeyStep Pro allows for a lot of connectivity options with all the types of your music making gear. Let's cover these now. At its basic level, KeyStep Pro can serve as the plug-and-play MIDI controller with fantastic keypad, lots of great quality mappable buttons, and CC-enabled encoders that will turn your DAW effects into the sequencing beasts. If you're into keys, you can just open up your standalone VST and play it with the KeyStep Pro that way. When working with the DAW, you can easily plug our instrument with the USB cable and control up to 4 tracks with your favorite software instruments, such as Pigments or V-Collection synths and keyboards. Touch strips become handy in this situation as well, allowing you to control whatever parameter of your soft synthesizers. You can even sequence the control changes with the use of the encoders. Enter the control mode and simply map them to the desired parameter in your DAW. Once you're done, make sure to put some steps into the KeyStep Pro sequencer and implement various values for each one. What is also very cool is that if your computer is connected, KeyStep Pro can serve as a USB to MIDI converter, letting you control your external hardware from the software running on your computer. KeyStep Pro can be the master clock for the entire MIDI rig, or it can just as happily serve as a slave to several sources. If set to a master, you can hook it up with multiple hardware devices with the use of the KeyStep Pro's 2 MIDI outputs. You can use the first MIDI out to connect an analog drum machine on track number 1, bass synthesizer on track 2, a digital synthesizer such as the Microfig on track 3, and virtual analog polyphonic synthesizer on track 4, creating a nice and fulfilling hardware setup. You can then use the other MIDI outs to synchronize even more hardware gear. In my setup, I also have a TT303 getting the MIDI data about the tempo, start and stop from the KeyStep Pro. By knowing the MIDI CC numbers of your hardware synths, you can easily assign KeyStep Pro's touch strips to your favorite parameters in those devices. In my case, the mod strip on track number 4 with the 16-voice polyphonic synthesizer controls its cutoff parameter, allowing me to create tension changes while playing the pads. The original KeyStep became famous for its controlled voltage connections, and it is no different with its successor. The bigger brother offers 4 pitch, mod and gate outputs to control up to 4 of your modular devices. Those 3 independent voltages are sent for each node: pitch, gate and pressure. The velo/mod output can be set to either velocity or pressure depending on the settings in the utility section or the MIDI control center. The clock input and output connectors allow KeyStep Pro to synchronize with lots of different clock formats. These connectors will allow you to connect to any drum machine with individual outputs. Thanks to this, all your individual drum sounds coming from the drum machine will be sequenced separately on the KeyStep Pro drum sequencer. The utilities section that is available on the front panel of KeyStep Pro gives us access to many parameters and settings that would usually be available only through the computer connection with MIDI control center. Once you get there, you can set the MIDI input and output channels for each track, including drum 1, and you can also set the sync sources for the KeyStep Pro input and output. These are automatic, 48 pulse per quarter, 24 pulse per quarter, 2 pulse per quarter, 1 pulse per 16th, MIDI, USB and internal. You also get access to the metronome settings. Once there, you can decide to send it over to the line or speaker outputs, as well as determine the amount of counts and measures and its time division and signature. Launch quantize settings lets you change the behavior of weight load for the project, scene or pattern from off to 4 bars. Inside of the MIDI settings, you can change the knob acceleration from slow to fast. You can also change the aftertouch and velocity curves, as well as the behavior of the transport send and receive. You can also enable or disable the clock send and clock receive for the KeyStep Pro. CV settings allow you to change the pitch format, bass note, gate format, mod type, and mod maximum voltage for each voice, from 1 to 4. You can also change the gate format for each individual drum gate, from 1 to 8. In the control settings, you can set the global MIDI channel as well as set the CC messages numbers for each of the 5 encoders. We can also set their ports, channels and modes, from absolute to relative, and the minimum and maximum range for their values. You can also change the MIDI send and receive options for the touch strips, as well as assign them to the particular MIDI CC messages that you want according to the device that you are controlling. You can also easily change the drum map from custom to chromatic and set the values for each of those modes. The MISC area allows you to perform a factory reset and to change the settings of the screensaver and Vegas mode. In this section, you can also check your current firmware version. Everything that we have just described is also available in the MIDI control center. As you can see, KeyStep Pro provides a fantastic solution for producing and performing your music. It might enter your studio and change the way you've been making music so far for the better. Thank you guys for watching and see you soon.